Hello. No doubt you've seen the signatures and heard about the petition to protest about Tony Blair's knighthood, or at least his appointment to the Order of the Garter, this extraordinarily unique order where there's only, at the very most, 24 members. So Blair is now one of those, and so is the Duchess of Cornwall. So today, though the Mail seems to have been a little bit slow on this, and even the Metro, the signatures, I can now say, have reached 500,000. This is quite an enormous number in a very short space of time. There's a sort of backlash against Blair receiving any honours at all. And I think you can understand that because mostly because of the Iraq War. Blair was the Prime Minister who sent 600 British military personnel into a very dangerous arena on very scanty evidence, and also to Afghanistan. Is it something that is considered that I would think is a kick in the stomach, as somebody has said? Yes, absolutely. I think it's more of a kick in the stomach to think about our exit from Afghanistan. That makes the entire venture really worthless. Now, if you go back to the Chilcot inquiry, which was in 2016, the two really damning statements there. One, that the war was certainly not justified, because Blair went out of his way to quote medieval justification, to quote to go through the principles of the just war, to defend his actions. I know when I've been teaching philosophy and I wanted to talk about the just war, I've always gone back to his speech in Parliament because it sets it out beautifully, except it was fake. So it certainly wasn't justified. And there's serious doubts about the ability of Saddam Hussein to deploy weapons of mass destruction within 45 minutes. The Chilcot inquiry is very modest in its conclusion that there was flawed intelligence. Now, I think this is a very serious and actually damning statement. Yes, it's couched in diplomatic language. But if we think of the story of the boy who cried wolf, you can't cry wolf twice. And we are getting to the point where somebody who is dangerous is going to possess weapons of mass destruction, which can be deployed within 45 minutes. And what are we going to do then? Now, that I think is one reason why these signatures have been collected so quickly, and why people are so much up in arms about Tony Blair's honour. I think since his retirement as Prime Minister, he has actually improved in stature a little. Not certainly as much as John Major did, but then John Major was starting from a much lower starting point. Though he did, incidentally, write a rather brilliant book about the history of the music hall. But the second big issue is, why are we honouring Tony Blair when the last of the dam busters, Johnny Johnson, who's now 100 years old, has still not been honoured with a knighthood? Why? I just do not understand this. And it's the same question I would ask about the honours which went out to various professors and various advisors to the government about COVID. And yet, those nurses and doctors on the front line, what do they get? They get clapped, and they get denied parking spaces in their hospitals. This is just a topsy-turvy situation, and I think it's wrong. Now, in his favour, in Tony Blair's favour, is an interesting chronology. Because we could say that actually Blair's honour now is a snub. It's a snub. but we need to be able to see it. We need to be able to see it clearly, and we can only do it when we look very closely at what's happened to all the prime ministers that the Queen has had. So all the prime ministers up to Blair, with one exception, became members of the Order of the Garter. With one exception, that was Alec Douglas Hume, because he died before there was an opportunity to give him that honour. So it could be said that all prime ministers automatically ascend to the Order of the Garter. That's the rule. The only snub is in how long it takes. So Edward Heath famously had to wait 18 years from the point when he lost office in 1974 to the point when he was made a Knight of the Garter. Blair has actually lasted 14 years, which is a long time. If you consider that Churchill and Harold Wilson became members of the order within a few days of leaving office, and when you consider that Attlee and Mrs. Thatcher were made members of the Order of the Garter within 5 years of leaving office, Blair's 14-year wait is a snub. But it takes a certain amount of, as I say, calculation, chronology to work that out. So I don't think, in real terms, Tony Blair is being given that much of an honour. He's being given, it's a backhanded honour at the very most. It's a backhanded honour. And if Tony Blair thinks this is a good thing, it is also a Pyrrhic victory, because it raises again the public discussion about his honesty and his integrity. And so that is in the news. And I think maybe that is right. This will go to the grave with him. And each time he gets into the public spotlight, that question about how he behaved and how he has already been judged by the Chilcot inquiry will continue. He can't avoid that.